like they're paying 3,600 a month. That's ridiculously expensive. I mean, to be paying rent. If at that point, if you're comfortable paying that, then I think at that point you might be ready to get a property that you can afford. Affordability is the watchword. The next question: in a situation where my RSP is at 15% of my income, can I borrow from my RSP as an emergency fund? I would say yes and no. So let me answer yes as a financial advisor, and then I'll answer no as a human being. So no, in the sense that, remember that when you put money in your RSP, that money is tax sheltered. So whatever in your RSP, you're not taxed. But when you withdraw from your RSP, let's say you have 5K in that RSP, and you withdraw the whole 5K, what hits your account is 4,500 because they're going to tax you so that's 10%. But what people don't know is that, yes, you have that 4,500 for that emergency. But when you're filing your taxes, you already paid $500 on that 5K, right? But when you're filing your taxes, that 4,500, that 5K you withdrew, they'll not add it to your income again. So you are paying tax twice. So that emergency really has to be so that's me answering as a financial advisor. That's why I said no. But as a human being and trying to be practical, if it's an emergency, my dear, please take it. So whatever emergency, maybe God forbid, there's a health sickness, just like emergency, then at that point in time, because rather than borrowing money, take from your RSP to attend to that emergency, and then over time you could pay it back, right? But if your RS, because remember, RS for your down payments, you could take it, you could take it without incurring any cost. But if it's really an emergency and that is the only money you have, please take it. Because when there's life, there's hope. We have to be sane, we have to be healthy to be able to take care of whatever it is, to be able to say we want to work and save. So I hope I've been able to answer that question as practical as I can.
Yes, you have. Thank you. I just have one final question that it's a follow-up to question one. Must we all have mortgage? Must we all own a home? Are we failures if we don't end up owning a home in our lifetime?
No. So there is, number one, we will never be failures. I'll start with that. And number two, different strokes for different people. I have friends that just want to live the condo lifestyle. They don't want to own a home. They don't want to be responsible for anything. They want to be able to just pick up their bags and go to the next country without any recourse, right? So it is, owning your home is a preference. Some people can choose to own a condo. Some people can choose to own a townhouse. Some people can choose to own a mansion. And some people actually live in a rental property, a rental building, and the properties they own, they don't live in it. They just rent it out and make money off it. So it's really what works for you. What do you want for yourself? What picture do you have for yourself in terms of creating wealth? Because owning a home is one of the ways whereby you can create wealth, generational wealth, right? So I mean, because as you pay down on your mortgage, especially as long as you don't overbuy. Overbuy means buying a property, buying it higher than what it's worth, because you don't overbuy. Over time, because a property is a long-term investment. It's not a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. It is you're in for the long run, right? So when you own it for a long period of time, it's not only when you pay down your mortgage, you're reducing what you owe, and then you're also building equity. Equity means that for every year you own a property, the value of a property goes up, even if it's by 5K, 10K. So if you've had it for over a period of time, right, you could decide not to sell. You could decide to take out that money from that property to give to your kids as their inheritance, so maybe they're getting married, start their own life. You could decide to do so many things with it, right? Because I would say you can never be a failure because you don't have a property. Because you can have a property and that property makes you a failure. Because you missed your payment, they took the property, you went into bankruptcy. So I think being a failure is a mindset. And because as Christians, I don't believe being a failure is even our portion, right? But I would say a property can help you get wealthy. A typical example is we bought our first property in 2017. And during the whole COVID boom, because I had my second child, we needed a bigger space and we sold. We bought our property maybe in the low 400s. It wasn't even up to maybe like 430. I sold our property, so at 2017, I sold our property in 2020 December, closed in 2021 January school. I sold it for 700K. So I mean, technically, everybody will take their share, but I mean, after all the expenses, I had over like 200K sitting pretty in my accounts. That is a good way to, I was lucky. I mean, because it was for a short period of time and I took advantage of COVID, but I made very, very good money in it. So I would say as long as you have a property the right way and you handle your finances the right way, you can't go wrong with it. I hope I've answered the question. I hope I've made
Thank
sense.
you very much for your time. We do appreciate your time. We do appreciate the effort you put in the explanation. And can we please also just give her the accolade she deserves, please, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. And if you're here and you want to reach out to her, please, do you have your details? Is it on
Yes,
your...
I think it's on my slide. I think I've stopped
Yes,
sharing.
please.
So
Just so that if
if you are on Instagram, my Instagram handle is Mortgages with Doing. So my name is Doing, like Doyn. So it's Mortgages with Doing. And if you want the website, it's www.mortgageswithdoing.com. Or you can just send me an email at doing@mortgageswithdoing.com. Or give me a call on the business line 226-791-9729. But you can easily reach me on Insta. If you're on Instagram, Mortgages with Doing, you can't do wrong. And I hope to see all of you reaching out. And I hope for us to work together as a team to acquire wealth through mortgages. Thank you.
thank you again. We made it. We made it, everyone. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. So our next thing up here is our transition break. We have 5 minutes. Just stand up, stretch, take a drink, water, shake it out, grab food, whatever it is. But please come back in 5 minutes because the next session is really, really something that we should dig into. If you're here, you need to dig into the next session. So I will see you in 5, okay? Don't go away. Just stretch. You can stop sharing, Miss Tony.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right, thank you.
Welcome, everyone. We're back, and it was an amazing first round, and I promise you that the next rounds will be as power-packed as the first one was. So the next session is our career panel session, Redefine at Work. And this is something that when we sent out the link, 90% of the questions were tilted towards this. Okay, let me just stop exaggerating. 50% was towards career, 40% was towards business, and then we had the others. So first of all, welcome two of our incredible members, and I will just share because I cannot keep their profile to myself. Okay. Um, yes. So first of all, we have Dr. Dolapo. I don't want to pronounce the full name. Yeah, Oluwa Dolapo Conte. She's the Vice President, Relationship Management Payment at JP Morgan and Chase Canada. She brings over 17 years of banking experience. She's a CFA, charter holder, she's a chartered professional accountant, a two-time winner of JP Morgan Chase President Circle Award. She's also the global head of workforce right here on Babes Redefined Nation. And joining her is none other than Efwe Anekwe. She's also known as Bridget. So you hear me saying Bridget or Efwe in between our conversations. And she's a seasoned technology and solutions delivery professional with over 15 years of experience in digital transformation and change management. She holds a Bachelor of Engineering and a Master of Information Technology. She's the host of the YouTube channel Restoring Hope with FOB. Welcome to this session. I'm just delighted to be hosting. Um, I think that you spotlighted awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Are we ready? Do you want to say hi before we go? You're
I mean,
muted.
whatever your preference is, if you want to say
I
hi,
just want to
hello,
hear
hi
hi.
everyone. I'm super excited to be here and thank you
Hello,
so much for
everyone.
the
Hello, everyone.
invitation.
Thank you. So
Thank you.
about 55 of the questions were just channeled towards career, but I have selected these few ones for us. If we have the time, we will also go to those questions. So first of all, this is for you, Babes Dolapo. For someone who just landed in Canada, like I landed yesterday or I landed 2 weeks ago, what are the first three things they should do to position themselves for a good job within 90 days? So this is specific. I just landed and I need to do three things that will position me for a good job within 90 days in Canada. You go.
Interesting. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, babes, that are here. Thank you for everyone that has joined this meeting so far. I want to say it's been a very exciting session, especially with the mortgage session. And to dive right into the career panel session and this question on, for someone that just landed in Canada, what are those three things you need to really position yourself to know? I would like to say that the first 90 days is actually not for you to start hunting for a job. It's actually for you to learn about your environment and understand your environment. And, before I talk about what you need to do, I'd like to say, first of all, there needs to be a change in your mindset. When I say a change in your mindset, we often have the entitlement mentality. You have so many qualifications, you have many years of experience, and you think that once I just land in Canada, I should just get a job, right? Anywhere I apply to, they should just be, trying to get me because I'm on hot cake, right? A lot of us had all of this entitlement, mentality. But the truth is that the moment you land, you need to take that back and you need to start thinking of what does the job, market here require of me? What is needed? So there needs to be a change in mindset. You need to understand that there is no connection between your Canadian, immigration, between the Canadian immigration system that brought you in, the RRCC, your CRS ranking system, and all of that, especially for the, those that came in with the personal, with the PR. You need to understand that it's quite different, right? So what the hiring manager wants, it's what is important. It is not what the government feels that you are qualified enough and they've given you visa. It does not translate to automatic, job offer, right? So that is the first thing, the change in mindset. So I would say, number one, it's important for you to build a Canadian ready personal brand. So when I say a personal brand, you need to be known for something. And that takes you, doing a research of your environment and picking a single job title, a target job title, and focusing on it. You don't want to be here and there. You don't want to be a business analyst today, a project management, a project manager tomorrow, a product manager the next day. It just shows that you're here and there, and nobody can define you. And you don't want to be that person. So it's very important that you research, define what makes you different on that particular role. And that's based on your years of experience. That's based on the requirements in the market. That is based on how the job is done in Canada. And then you begin to customize your resume and your LinkedIn to fit into that specific role. You don't want to have so many roles. Of course, you've had so many years of experience, but you're not going to do all of them, right? And the way the Canadian job environment is, it favors people that are niche specific, that are well defined in what you want to do. So it's important to build a Canadian ready personal brand. And you do that by focusing on the job title. Number two, you need to build a network. Whether you like it or not, opportunities would always come through relationships that you have built. And you need to make sure that you're earning trust, from people that are directly responsible in those industries, talking about the recruiters, talking about the hiring managers. You need to identify all of these people. Aim to have informational interviews with people that work in the industry that you're targeting. Don't ask for jobs, ask for advice, ask for insights, ask for recommendations, and have useful conversations with them. Do not try to sell yourself in the first instance. Be curious, be inquisitive. Try to learn about what that job role is all about, what that job role is all about in Canada. And that helps you, to be able to build a network of people that you've been able to earn their trust. And when it comes to opportunities, they can always grant you that opportunity. And then lastly, it's important for you to learn the Canadian workplace culture. Learn the Canadian workplace culture. It's not about the qualifications you have. It's a lot more tweaked to your soft skills, your ability to relate with people. Are you easy to work with? Try and volunteer in the industry of interest to you. That industry that is related to the particular job title that you're looking to. Try and volunteer in that industry. Observe, listen, ask questions, and learn how decisions are made in those industries. And those first 90 days would have prepared you enough to take the next steps towards, getting a job in Canada. So that's it for me.
Oh my goodness, this was just so power-packed. Thank you so much, Babes Dolapo. So we all know this is just our breaking in session. So this first session is breaking into the Canadian workforce. And if you've been keeping notes, I hope you took these notes, because I'm here to tell you that your first 90 days is not for job hunting. Those are not my words. Those are her words, right? I didn't say that. She said that, and I agree with her. And also, it's time to build and discover your new environment, okay? Number one, she said, build a Canadian ready personal brand. I agree. Build a network, I agree, and learn the Canadian workplace culture. Those are her 3 points. And just so I share my personal, not so personal experience. The thing that got me where I am today is my LinkedIn. And I had the niche. She talked about niche, remember? I put escalation expert on my LinkedIn. And I got a recruiter call me and say, oh, hi, I see that you're an escalation expert. And when I was putting it, I didn't even know what I was doing. And I said, yes, I am. And they said, oh, I have a job with so. Are you available till today. This is 2 years ago, right? Today, I'm comfortably working in that industry just because my LinkedIn came prepared with a niche. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate. So this is for you, Miss Bridget, thriving in the workplace. So what are 2 or 3 unwritten rules of Canadian workplace culture that immigrants often miss? Think communication, feedback, meetings, just 2 or 3 of these unwritten rules that we as immigrants often miss in the workplace. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much for that question. And thank you once again for the invitation. I'm super excited to be here. But to quickly add something to what Babes Dolapo had said, I would also say that you need to prepare your interviewing skills because it's a completely different landscape, right? The way that we used to interview back home, if you're from Africa, Nigeria, it's quite different here. Like there's a thin line between
Is it just me? Did we lose her?
it's
Yeah, for a
very
while.
interesting.
Okay.
She dropped.
And
So we stopped that there's a thin line.
oh, did you lose me? Or
Yes.
did Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry about that. I was saying that there's a thin line between being succinct, right? When you attend an interview and then, answering those questions and speaking too much. So you need to find that balance. Like everything you say, you need to come with examples. You can't just say, I'm a great communicator. What exactly does that mean, right? Do you have specific examples of where you displayed communication skills that your hiring manager can relate to? So that's just very important. I wanted to put it out there for whoever is, job hunting, because we all went through this. And I know
Yes.
that the Lakwa said the first 90 days are not for job hunting. Somebody's like, are you kidding me? There's rent, there's this and that. But yeah, you need to, it takes time to really get acclimatized and start to really, get those jobs. But to the question that you asked me around the unwritten rules very quickly. So the first will be that document everything. Document everything. I will talk about my own experience as a Nigerian, right? We have this, gentleman agreement lifestyle. We just talk about it and believe that okay, we've said it and we've agreed. In Canada, whatever you're doing, if somebody has said do something or you've gotten some kind of concurrence or even your own achievements, right? You want to document these things because sometimes the day will come where you need to prove that this is what was said, or it was on this basis that you did this. Or even sometimes when it comes to the promotion conversation with your hiring manager, like you need to have your facts at hand. So documentation is never too much. Like even in my line of work, one of the first things that someone advised me was, how you go into a meeting, you talk to people, you might not be recording. After the meeting, send an email to say, okay, this is what we discussed and summarize. Let it be in black and white. It will save you one day. The second thing I will touch on is don't lose guard. Don't get too comfortable. Like this one is so interesting. So the Canadians are very likable people. Do you understand what I mean? They're nice people, if you get it. And to us, niceness is friendship. It's not. Those are two completely different things. So we can go for coffee every day, and 3 weeks later, you do something. I'm going to be the same person who walks into your manager's office and reports you. It's not personal. That's just the way it is. Those are two separate things. We can be best of friends, but you're still going to do what you need to do. If I see you doing things that you shouldn't do, I'm still going to escalate and no hard feelings. And that's the same way that you should also learn to advocate for yourself because they advocate for themselves. So you need to be able to stand up and speak up, right? Don't just let things slide. That attitude is not going to get you very far, right? And then the third thing that I would highlight is learn the art of communication. Learn the art of communication. Based on our background, we don't like to talk about the difficult things. We run away from those difficult conversations. Most times we just want to keep quiet, we let things slide. We just take it. God is in control. We have this false sense of humility, and sometimes we misunderstand what it means to be a Christian, and we think we're being Christian. But it doesn't work in the Canadian workplace, right? And we're not saying speak in a way, and even when you're communicating, one thing to remember is that you have to speak in a way that does not pull the other person down. But you should be able to speak up and advocate for yourself at every point in time and be unafraid to trigger those difficult conversations, to call people out. So when I say call people out, I mean politely, I mean professionally. Do you understand what I mean? So, I mean, there's so many unwritten rules that you will learn as you go. But if you just say I should mention three, this would be like the first three that come to mind to share. And I hope that it helps someone. Because some of us
Absolutely.
learn these things the hard way, right?
Thank you for
Tell you.
acknowledging that. Thank you for acknowledging that. Some of us learn it the hard way. And I absolutely think that this session is for us to make sure that we don't learn it the hard way. So yes, document everything and don't lose guard. And then work on your communication. So if you're here and you're wondering what don't lose guard is, for me, what I said is don't be too comfortable. Niceness is not friendship. That's just
Absolutely.
my takeaway. I mean, we can all be nice. That doesn't mean that we're friends. We just want to get the job done. Thank you so much. So again, this is for you. Networking is under networking, and that's for you, Babes Dolapo. Networking, it's who you know, right? That's what we're told. So, what's your best advice for building a professional network in Canada with zero connections, especially for people like me that are introverts, right? So, again, what's your best advice for building a professional network in Canada with zero connections? I haven't gone out in 4 months. So, how would I build this network?
Yeah, I think you start from, the fact is that you start from the virtual, right? You have the LinkedIn, you have different blogs. I think the LinkedIn is a very good resource site. You try to reach out to people that are in the same, job industry, in your target job industry, and then start to reach out to them and find out. So when you reach out to them, I see people reaching out to me on LinkedIn, and sometimes you reach out to them and what you're asking first is a favor. It's not meant to be like that. When you reach out to people, start with informational interviews. Um, Start with a yearning to learn about what they do. People are always ready to talk about themselves. So if you really want to hear people, if you really want people to engage with you, try to get them to talk about what they do. So start with informational interviews, ask people about their career paths, ask people about the industry trends. What are the trends in the industry? How is that job done in Canada? I mentioned that before. Your particular job title, it's not the same thing in Nigeria as it is in Canada. Like, for instance, a relationship manager in banking is not the same thing as relationship manager here. Sometimes it could be a financial advisor, it could be banking advisor, it could be an investment manager. You do all that in Nigeria and you're referred to as a relationship manager. So it's quite different here. So you need to understand what the job title is all about. And the only way you can do that is by networking, by working with people, trying to engage people that work in that role. Even if they're not the hiring managers, engage them, understand how they got there, their career path, what does their day-to-day work look like, right? And then focus on relationship building, not just begging for jobs. Don't beg, don't go out there and say, oh, I saw a job, that should not be your first conversation. Focus on curiosity instead of just selling yourself, and try to ask good questions. Ask questions that will prompt them to want to talk about what they do. And it's also important that you build relationship. When you're building relationship, it's not, anytime you need something, you just reach out to the person and then you don't get it. You stay mute for like 1 year and then you see like one job advert again on the person's maybe company portal and you say, oh, I reached out to you like 1 year ago. I just saw a job position. That is not building relationship. Focus on building relationship, follow up consistently, and then make sure that you have a meaningful conversation with these people. You can also like reach out to all this. You also have all of these networking opportunities that are provided by newcomer, associations. They're all sort of newcomer association. Just put newcomer association on CRA sites, and you see a lot of opportunities coming up, a lot of associations, and they'll give you like access to them where you can actually reach out to somebody as a newcomer and then try to engage, try to get them to link you up with someone you can talk to that actually works in the same profession as you're looking at. One thing you must remember is that networking isn't just collecting contacts from people. Networking isn't just saying, I know this person. It is building trust first before the opportunities appear. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, my notes are filled up. Networking isn't just collecting contacts. Please, if there's anything you're taking from this session, this particular one, networking is not collecting contact, it's building a relationship. And yes, so understand the job title, engage with people in the career path, focus on relationship building. Ask questions that prompts curiosity and follow up. Don't send them a message and run away for 1 year. Thank you so much. That was so power packed. So if you're here and you think networking is not something that you can engage in, it's something that is too big for you, please. Babes Dolapo just released the nuggets. If you didn't get it, please go back. It's going to be on YouTube and watch it again so that you understand that it's something that you can do. Okay. So I'm going to take you back a little bit, Babes Bridget. Transferable skills. I just realized that question was outstanding throughout the registration. So a lot of us here, new immigrants, have degrees, experiences back from home, right? Some of us have worked 10 years plus and all that. So the question is, how can we best package foreign experience so that Canadian employers can see the value? Right? So again, how can we best package our Nigerian experience, foreign experience, so that the Canadian employers can see the value that we carry?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question. And it ties back to the things that Bizdolako had said at the beginning about the first 90 days, right? It's all about research. It's all about, first of all, even the job title that you want to apply for. So, she talked about having a niche. It's probably not going to be your exact same job title, right? So you even have to understand, okay, I used to be a relationship manager back home, but I'm probably going to be applying for maybe banking advisor. What we called customer service associate was a full degree holder back in Nigeria. In Canada, it's not. It's like a teller role here, right? So you need to do your research to even say, okay, this is the job role. When you understand the job that you want, you now have to sit down and do another level of research to see all of the individual things that you're going to be doing, and to be able to identify the skills that you already have, that you already exhibited in your life at whatever point, based on the experience that you have, 5, 10, 15 years, and be able to tailor it in a way that your hiring manager can connect to what you're saying. So it's all about nomenclature. You can't just say the things you did the exact way you did them in Nigeria and expect that anybody's going to be able to relate. There are some keywords. So there's a need to really, really deeply research your industry and even understand, okay, this thing that they're calling this is actually the same thing we did here, but we called it a different name. If you go into the interview and you're using the name that you are used to, everybody's going to be looking at you like, what exactly is she saying? Like, she doesn't have the skills. And where it gets even worse is that your hiring manager may be able to relate, but guess what? There's always a recruiter in between you and the hiring manager. And that's where most people just fall off the track. Because a recruiter, imagine that I'm in HR and I'm recruiting for a role, maybe a project manager role, right? I recruit for project manager, I recruit for engineer, I recruit for like all kinds of roles. Obviously, I'm not the expert. So I just take the JD the hiring manager has given me and I'm speaking to the candidates, expecting to hear certain things being said. Because when I hear that skill, oh, I did project management, I looked at the requirements, whatever it is, RESI, whatever it is that project managers use, I'm expecting to hear those things. And if I don't hear you say those things, I'm going to be like, oh, no, she doesn't have the experience, and I'm going to move on. So you being able to translate means even understanding what exactly that job is within the Canadian market. How are you able to say, okay, yes, I did do this back home, but this is not how I'm going to present it. I'm going to present it this way because that is when the hiring manager will be able to relate to exactly what I'm saying, right? Now, when we talk about transferable skills, I always tell people, and I saw someone say it on social media the other day where she said that every single time she moved countries, her life literally changed. And why is that? Because you are giving a clean slate. Like, you can be anything. I can come into Canada and be like, oh, I want to be a doctor. Yeah, not literally, but you get what I mean. Like, this is an opportunity for you to be whoever you want to be, literally. So the question is, you look at the job that you're targeting to say, what are the skills that are needed here? Where in my life, in my past life, have I exhibited those skills? Most people are trying to put apples and apples. So I want to be a project manager, and maybe I need some organizational skills. And I'm trying to prove that, oh, I did one big project, one multi-year project back home in Nigeria. No, you don't have to be. You might have been a receptionist and you were responsible for organizing the end of the year party. That's a project. What's a project? It has a start and end date. You see what I mean? What kind of skills did you display in, delivering that party? So organization, communication, the fact that you're able to track certain things and follow up with people and show that things got done. Those are the exact same things that you want to now speak to the hiring manager. So you need to have your story intact. And that's really where interviewing is different. It's all about storytelling. What story can you tell that will sell yourself? How are you able to say the things you have done and convince somebody that does not know you that you can do the exact things that are being shown on the job description? So it takes a lot of research and it takes time, which is probably why Babes Olako was being practical in terms of you may not get a job in 3 months if the first month is when you actually started looking for a job, because some people start the journey like while they're still back home in Nigeria. So that's fine. But there's always a runway for every single person because it takes time to be able to understand, okay, this is exactly how I should be presenting myself. Or this is exactly the words I should be using. Oh, this is exactly what they mean when I say this. It takes time. It's a learning curve, right? But do not lose hope. It gets better. That's the truth. For every interview you go to that you don't get the job, it's a win. I tell people that it's a win because now you know what you said or didn't say. You get what I mean? You know how to take it forward. And so that's what I would say, in relation to transferable skills. It looks like it's impossible, but when you see the number of people that have actually transitioned, a lot of people are not doing the same job that they did back home in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
So that should tell you that it is possible. It just takes a while to understand. And back to some of the things that Dolako had said, who is doing the job that you want to get? Can you speak to that person so that person can also enlighten you and tell you about some of these industry, keywords and terminologies that you can start to adapt in speaking? So I hope this answers the question.
It's so wholesome that I'm unable to say everything that I learned, but I just want to tell you thank you. Thank you so much for breaking it down. And so if you're here and you're wondering what we're doing, if you just joined us, we are on the career panel discussion, and we have Babes Dolakwa and Babes Bridget leading us. So research. And I'll come back to my normal, I always say this everywhere I said, just that research of escalation got me where I am today. Just escalation expert. That's it. So research, do your research, change the wordings, switch from the Nigerian acronym to the Canadian acronym, and you're there. So we move to the next question, growth and bias. And this is for you, Babes Olakbo. This is question I want to hear. How did you get your first promotion in Canada? What mindset or skill helped you move from just a job to career growth?
Interesting. Just to say a bit of my story before I answer that question. So, getting into Canada for me, I would say it was during COVID, right? I still had to work at my job at that time, back home in Nigeria. So I didn't have the courage to resign. I got in like January. I worked until February, and eventually I had to resign and had to face the job market in Canada. And at that time in February, I started to send out my resumes. I sent out several resumes to different people, hoping to get a response. I can tell you that I most likely applied for over 40 jobs, and everything came back declined, right? And then, I remember having to, take all those steps that we talked about earlier. I had to redefine myself. I had to, focus on a single job title. I also had to look at my resume and work with people to help to fine tune my resume to make sure that I'm actually getting in the door. And eventually I got my first role with JP Morgan Chase as an associate, right? And the first thing I did when I got into the role was not just focusing on tasks that were assigned to me. I started to look at my job in the overall business context. So I wasn't just focusing on completing my tasks. I started to solve, all the business problems. I remember that I started to make recommendations. My first few months actually provided a feedback to my manager about the onboarding process and the fact that I had to practically, search around for information for different systems that I needed to have access to. And there was no process in place to ensure that any new employee that is being onboarded knows the systems to access, knows what to do, and all of that. And providing this feedback actually put me on the board of, the relationship management advisory board, where, I, with other people, I was able to provide, bring about solutions to the onboarding issues. And at the end of the day, we were able to create a system where everybody that comes in would have access to what they needed to board, to become integrated in the firm in my team within a few weeks of joining the firm. So I looked for ways to create value just beyond my job description of just being a relationship manager. I also understood what success meant on my role. I continuously requested for feedback from my manager to know how I was doing. And I became known as someone that could be trusted with bigger challenges. And then 2 years into that role, my manager had to be on paternity leave at that time. And the only person he could think about to take care of the team, a team of about 7 relationship managers while he was away, was me, right? So that was an opportunity. But like they always say, opportunity meets preparation, right? If I was not prepared in terms of creating value beyond my job description, it would be very difficult to get that opportunity. So the only person he could think about was me, and he projected me forward. And the executive director, of course, he's heard so much about me and he was comfortable with it. I was able to take care of the team while he was away for 6 months. I managed the team as an interim manager. So I had to do my job as an interim manager in addition to my job as an individual contributor. Right. And I was able to combine all this together. Of course, I was not being remunerated for that extra, but I did it with all my heart. So it was a whole lot of preparation. It was a whole lot of, persistence. And then me, myself, having this result-oriented thinking, being able to push the team to a better place. So that by the time it came, to join the team again, and then became, was now the manager again. What happened was the business felt that there needs to be a restructure, right? And they needed to split the team. And then an opportunity arose again for a new manager, right, of another team. And it was just my name that came to fore. And I was specifically told, oh, you need to go and apply for this. You seem to be the person that they trust for you to take up that role. And I applied for it. It was easy peasy. It was obvious that I was going to get the role. So I applied for it, but it was a whole lot of preparations that I'd made before, focusing on not just my tasks, focusing on not just my job role, but looking at my job in the context of the whole business, and then helping to provide, solutions and value beyond my job description. So I guess that's why, I got my first promotion from being an associate on that role. Within 2.5 years, I was promoted to the vice president and manager of a team.
Thank you. That's amazing. I mean, can we just give it up for her? Give it up for her. I need to see the reactions. Celebrate success so it comes to you, okay? So many things to grab, but be prepared, result-oriented, look for ways to create value, understand what success is, and ask for feedback. That sums it up. Because we're running a little bit behind schedule, I'm just going to ask two more questions. So one for you, babes, sorry. I'm sorry, Bridget, let me leave it at that. So overcoming bias, that is, there's something they call silent bias here, okay? Let's talk real. Have you faced, and you don't have to go into detail, just yes or no, or just have you faced bias as an immigrant woman? Oh my goodness, sorry, my screen just got shut. Have you faced bias as an immigrant woman of color at work? How did you navigate that without losing yourself? Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's another great question. I mean, as an immigrant, a woman, you're black, there are a lot of biases, right? But the one that I would touch on is there's something around, babe Zoleka just shared, and maybe just following from the fact that we're talking about promotions, right? When it comes to promotion, there's also a lot of bias. It's a woman of color. The thing is that what the Caucasian woman has to do to get into a leadership position is like she barely has to do anything. I feel like for them, they probably just need to even show a little bit of skill and interest, because you know that many Caucasians are not really into, they're not as driven as we are as Africans. So some of them just want to hold this job title for like forever and they're comfortable. But if they show some sort of interest and a little bit of potential, they are pushed forward. But for you, who is an immigrant and a woman of color, right? It's the ball game is completely different. And Dolapa was talking about promotion. One thing about promotions also is that it's all about likability. So you can get there, do a great job, do a fantastic job, be closing deals if you're in sales, doing whatever the projects, executing flawlessly, right? But there's that thing of, when it comes to a leadership role, we want to give you the job, right? We want you to be the one to execute the projects or get whatever needs to be done, because we know that you are capable. We know, we can see you have the degree, you have the experience, no question. But when it comes to, we're going to give you a seat at the table and give you like a managerial or a leadership position, there's a bit of bias, right? And for me, the response is straightforward. You need to advocate for yourself, right? Advocate for yourself. Show that you have the capability. Dolakwa shared her story. Show that you can do it, right? Speak. Let the people who need to make these decisions know who is getting the job done. So put yourself out there. But the truth is, you can't control how people are going to respond or react to the things that you're doing. So the other thing I would say is that be ready to stand up for yourself and know your value in a way that if the promotion is not coming within, if they're not giving you a seat at the table within, then look for that seat out there. You get what I mean? Because you can't really, you can do it, you can do everything right and still not get that position that you're pushing for. So the question is this the only job? Is this the only position in the whole world, in the entire Canada? If the answer is no, then maybe you want to, check outside and see if there are other opportunities out there for you. But I have come to see that even in applying for jobs, right? If you try to apply for like managerial, executive director type of positions, you just find that sometimes it feels like, the CVs are going into this bottomless pit. But just try to apply for maybe like analyst positions. You start to get a lot of feedback, a lot of response, right? So that's even externally. And then even within your own workplace, there's that thing of, we know she's capable. They tell you that you're great. But you see, when it comes to certain level of promotions,
I agree.
there's that thing to say, okay, maybe you just need to take it slow, like just chill, girl, chill. Meanwhile, your Caucasian colleagues are not facing that same constraints. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Advocate for yourself. If there's anything we've repeated so much this session, advocate for yourself. So the last question for you, babes, Dolapo, BR is about the total woman. So how do you, I would like to know, I honestly would like to know, how do you balance career, ambition, with faith, family, and purpose without burning out? And this is just in 2 minutes because I know a lot of us burn out. I've burnt out. That's why I have a low cut
Yeah,
because I cut off my hair. I could not cope. How do
sure.
you do this without burning out?
I would like to start that we need to understand that, we're in different seasons and no condition is permanent, and every season requires different priorities. So you need to understand the fact that, you cannot get something right now does not mean you won't be able to get it later. So focus on what requires your attention for now. Ensure that, you know what to pursue at this moment. Give yourself permission not to do everything perfectly. You don't have to be perfect like in everything you do. Focus on your priorities for now. If it is taking care of the children, if your children are still young, if you're just getting newly married, if your children are already much older, if they're teenagers, you have different priorities, right? If you're not married, you're single, different priorities. Do not walk by other people's, timetable. Walk by your own timetable. Focus on your own priorities at any point in time, and understand that every season requires different priorities. I was still telling someone, having to write CFA, having to do CPA, all of that, write ACC exams, all of that, taking care of children, taking care of the family. It was a whole lot, right? But because I understood priorities, I understood that those times are not going to be permanent. My children, did not see me for a long time. They did not, have enough of me for a long time. But I knew that that time, maybe it was just 6 months of preparing for an exam. I knew that it wasn't going to be forever. And I made preparations, to ensure that they were well taken care of. I have very good support system as well. Thank God for my husband. He's been very supportive in my career journey. And I would also like to say God is also, the God factor is what you cannot overemphasize it. Faith and purpose will keep your career in perspective. And it's important you also build support systems with women of like, faith, just like we have in Babes Redefined. Babes Redefined has really helped over the years to keep all of us in focus, help us to focus on on the totality of the woman, your family, your career, enterprise, your finances and everything, making sure that at any point in time, you're doing what is necessary, and your career at the end of the day should actually support your life purpose. It should never, never replace your life purpose. Your life purpose is the most important, and that you should pursue, understanding the priorities for every season. So that is what has helped me so far. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then that's you speaking to me. Focus on the now. Don't be perfect, Viv. Don't be perfect. Viv, don't be perfect. Walk by your timetable, your personal timetable, and build a support system. I know I missed a few, but if you're here and you're listening, please write your own and paste it and keep up to it. So one last advice, and we'll round up. I know we're running a little bit behind schedule, but this is power packed. I could not just pause. Okay, so if you could leave any babe here, every woman, every babe here, if you could leave us with one piece of advice, just one, please, just one, to the refined at work in Canada 2026, what would it be? One piece of advice. Let's go, babes. Bridget.
All right. So my piece of advice would be know your value, right? Know your value. Now, what does that translate to? Know your value means that number one, you can advocate for yourself, right? You're not afraid to demand the things that you know that you deserve. You're not afraid to speak up and advocate for yourself. And thirdly, because you know your value, when someone else is not seeing that value, you're not afraid to walk away. So know your value will be my best advice.
Thank you so much. That was just so explicitly explained. You go, babes Dalakbo.
Yeah, I would like to say that your story as an immigrant is not a disadvantage. It's an evidence that you've already done hard things in the past, and it's important for you to bring that resilience in every room you enter. It's not about, you're not less than anyone here. You belong already. Build your skills, build your confidence, build your network. And just like Babes A first said, Let your values speak louder than your accent, than your background, and than all your fears. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's just clap. So we have the question. We have if you have any other question, please put it in a Q&A so that we can answer it at the same time. So someone says, well said, Ma, for immigrants coming with PR, the government has many bridging programs that are paid for. That is good, especially for those. Okay, I think that she was just making a statement, not a question. So she's just letting us know that the government has a lot of programs that are paid for and that it creates a good avenue to network. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, sorry, just to add to that, you can just go to the government's website and just search for newcomer programs at any time. I think those are resources that a lot of us fail to use. There's Access, I think the one of the newcomer settlement programs. Just search for newcomer settlement programs, and from there you can get resources. You can network, do all your networking, get into the industry you want to get to in Canada and learn about that industry. Thank you.
Thank you. This was an amazing session. Thank you so much for doing justice to this. I appreciate the time and appreciate all that you have laid for us. Okay. So we're moving to the next session. So now I have to say welcome to our next speaker. He's been very patient with us, and I will just share my slide because I need us to focus on what he brings to us. So our next speaker, which is our final session for today, it's on business. And we have a special guest joining us, Mr. Wale Rabiu, founder and CEO of Gray Matlock Bakery, with over 20 years of experience in entrepreneurship, food manufacturing, and business strategy. His Butterfield bread is now stocked in major Canadian retailers. He's also the founder of Rubik Consulting, and he leads initiative connecting Canada and Nigeria through trade and mentorship. Babes, welcome. We cannot wait to, Babes, join me to welcome Mr. Wale Rabiu. We cannot wait to learn from his experience.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on what part of the world you are. As I've been introduced, my name is Wale Rabiu, and it's a pleasure to be part of this event. And I'm actually very happy and excited, and I'm going to thank the Babes Redefined Canada team for inviting me to this webinar and to be part of this event. And I'm actually excited also sharing this stage with other speakers. I've been listening for a couple of minutes now, and I think I have learned a couple of stuff myself too. I actually took a couple of those too, so that I can move out some of these things. So having said that, I will go straight to why we're here today. And I believe I'm speaking to a couple of us that live in Canada. So many of us, we left our homes, we left various comfort zones across the world, especially in Nigeria, to come to Canada. You know, some people came as students, some people came as professionals, whether doctor, lawyer, marketers, all walks of life. We all came with hope. We all came believing we're going to get a good job to support our family. But one of the things that changed me personally is how not putting everything on paid employment can also change your life too. Can also change your dreams and your hopes too. So I'll be talking from my own point of view, based on what I know, based on what I understand, that when you get a job, it's very important. But when you own a business, it may change things for you. It may change things for the better also. And it may make you even a better person, because beyond just, all of us are not going to own businesses. And I've actually worked in the corporate world too. I've done a lot of, I've moved around. I've changed industries. I've done manufacturing. I've worked in the financial institution. I worked in the banks, and also worked in the telecom industry, where I spend most of my professional life. You know, so there's nothing wrong with having paid employment. There's nothing wrong being a professional. There's nothing wrong being in the corporate world. But definitely, there's a lot we can do more, because I believe every one of us has a bit of more than what we're showing. There's this silent part of us that we need to bring out. So that's why I always advocate for people that can do it, people that have flair, people that have passion to do business. Please don't let it waste. You can still even combine that with your 9 to 5 job, which is very, very possible. So you can combine that with your 9 to 5 job too. So I'll be talking to us today. I'll be sharing my journey, how I came to Canada, how I started my business, and a family business, I must say, and how we've been able to grow that business from just a one bakery shop to becoming a bread company, from one retail store to having multiple locations across Canada. Today, we have 9 locations operating. The 10th one is going to start in the next couple of weeks across Canada. And we have signed MOU and agreement with 2 other partners in the US. So we're moving there. We started by selling to African grocery business that is just within our African community, to now selling the bread in the big box supermarkets across Canada. So we've been able to move the business away, not only staying within our community, but making it available to other ethnic nationalities across Canada. So, but the fact is, none of this happened overnight. It took a while. We've been in business for about 8 years now, going to the 9th year. So it took a while for us to get to the point where we are today. So I'll be sharing some points with you that have assisted us, that have assisted me as a person, piloting the whole and the rest of the team, and how we've been able to achieve the little success we have today. So my first point is going to be, when you leave Nigeria, whether you're traveling to UK, Canada, but I'll focus on Canada. So the first point is, Canada will reward not only the title you're bringing from Nigeria, but it's going to reward also, and most importantly, the values that you have in you, the values you're willing to add to the system. If you look at the Canadian system, for some of us that are in Canada, there's a way that this system recognizes the fact that you have a certificate, but it really doesn't pay for your certificate. It pays for the value. It pays for some of the things you're bringing to the table. It pays for, bringing to the table the values you're adding to the organizations or to the system or to the industry. And that one is very important to me. So when you come around, you have MBA, master's degree, all sorts of degrees from Nigeria. We love reading from Nigeria. Excuse me. We love reading a lot. So we come with titles. But when we get there, the market will only ask for 3 things. And I'm saying this based on my experience. The market is going to ask for the problem you want to solve. And that is important. When we got to Canada in 2016, we realized that for those of us that have been in Canada that long too, we realized that it was a bit difficult getting the type of bread that we're used to, eating the type of bread that we love. If you go to an average supermarket, they're going to see up to 20, 15 different types of bread. But you eat them, they really will not taste like our type of bread. So that was what actually led to us thinking, okay, if you produce the kind of bread that Nigerians love or the Africans will really eat easily, then we may be solving a particular problem. Those days, to get a loaf of bread from the Ghanaian stores, which was the closest that we have to our bread, you probably need to travel from my part of UK then, which was Milton, to North York, or go to some African stores that they'll come to deliver once in a week. So the freshness was not even there also, So we just thought, okay, if you provide another bread that Nigerians are used to, and we can deal with these logistic or distribution challenges, maybe we'll be solving the problem. And that's how we entered the market. And today, they say the rest is history. And now, the second point is the 3 questions. Okay, I was talking about the 3 points the market will ask you. What problem do you want to solve? How well do you want to solve your problem? And can you do it consistently? So you're not just going to solve it once and disappear. You have to continuously solve that problem. So you have to know that this problem has to be well taken care of. Because there's something again we learned and that I've always known. Well, I learned it from a consultant that I spoke with while we're starting this business, that there's some things that the business in this, when you are coming from an ethnic nationality, if you start a business, if you start a new initiative, no matter how well you think you know about it, some other people have the idea too. So it's going to take you between 3 to 5 years before people in your ethnic nationalities are going to come for you. When, not that they're coming for you as a person, but they're coming to copy or do better what you're doing. So you have to solve it very well and be consistent so that you can be ahead of others in this game. Business is a game. Business is, nobody is going to wait for you. If you don't do it well, some people are coming and they will copy you and they can pace better than you. So they come and they take it away from you. They take the initiative from you. I think I read a book sometimes ago, some 10 years ago, Who Moved My Cheese? You know, you have the cheese, you have it there, you know, you think it will always be there for you, but somehow some people are actually studying and they're going to do it better. So that's one thing about bringing values to an environment. So your values is what's going to be rewarded, not only the certificate you're bringing from Nigeria. And I'm actually trying to speak to this topic of from survival to significance, building a thriving Canada business, a thriving business in Canada. So I went back to the speech title so that I'm not speaking too much of point, you know. So the first point, like I said, is bringing value to the table, not just its education. Then the second thing is I want to talk about is perfection. Most of us, we wait for things to be perfect before we start. We want that money to be ready. We want things to be perfect. Whether it is fund you're waiting for, whether it's equipment for your business, whether at the right timing when you think you're going to have enough time on your hand to start the business. No, you don't have to wait. You're not waiting. Most times, it might be the capital you're waiting for. It might even be confidence level. That am I ready to hit the market, or am I going to get the right support? Who's going to take care of my children? If I add this business to what I currently do, who's going to handle school runs? Will my husband or my spouse be willing to assist in? No, we don't need to get a perfect timing for us to go into business. It will look as if you're going to die. They say Yakubu manage. If you look as if you want to die, but you're not going to die, you know. Just start it. Because by the time you start that business, you're better than, I can't put a percentage to it, but I just believe if you have an initiative and you put it down and you start it, there are millions of other people across the world that have similar initiatives, but they have not been able to sit down and start it. So that's why we don't need to wait for a perfect situation to start our for our ideas. Just start it and you definitely get rewarded by starting. There's always an advantage for being the first person to hit the market, you know, first mover advantage. So that's why you probably need to, once they're sure you have a good product, once they're sure you have a good service, just do it. They say just do it, you know, just do it. Some of us we love taking risk, while some people measure the kind of risk they take. So I'm not saying everybody should take risk or uncalculated risk, but once you have done all your feasibility studies, you've spoken to your maybe lawyers, maybe accountants, or business advisors, or even mentors, which I would even advise everybody to imbibe. Learn how to talk to others. When we were going to start this bread bakery business, one of the things we did was to get a consultant that was guiding us through it. You know, we didn't think we know everything. Well, we actually did not know anything anyway about bread. I didn't know anything about bread, so the idea of bread just started within Canada. So talk to people, and they'll be able to guide you and help you in your journey. You grow, business will always grow when you start it small and you build continuous improvement on your businesses. So my advice again is start. Don't wait for that perfect time. Just start the business and success will compound. And that's what people don't grow from stage 1 to 10 all of a sudden. You will climb the ladder. First step, second step, When people try to jump, they fall at times. So try to build it and you're definitely going to get to achieve your objective while you're setting up the business. So the third one is solve problem people will pay for. Let us focus on solving what brings money. And that's how you can grow a thriving business, Except you're setting up what do they call it? Profit, not for profit. You don't intend to make profit from your business. Maybe you have some other means of funding the business, maybe through government grants or donors. But I think it's important to focus on what solve problem that people will pay for, or focus on what brings the money, or what brings the whatever you're looking for in business. Some people go into business at times, maybe not for money, maybe just to solve a problem. It might be and I think this will be applicable to some non-profit organization. But for me, I'm much more interested in businesses that bring money. I will allow those that love the non-profits to focus on that. We all cannot focus on the same thing. So I'll choose the one that bring money. So businesses don't succeed because ideas are igniting alone. Business will succeed because customers have a problem that you are providing a solution to. So ask yourself this: what problem am I solving? The greater the problem, the greater the opportunity. Don't just buy products. Customer will not just buy your product, but they buy the solution you're providing. So the point again is solve problem, look for problem. We thought there was a problem with getting Nigerian bread then, and we thought we're solving just a Nigerian bread problem. Today, we don't have just Nigerians alone eating our product. We have the product across, out of the big 5 supermarkets in Canada, we are in all of the big 5. Although they have different banners. For example, Sobeys owns Freshco. We're in Freshco. We're not selling in Sobeys yet. Metro owns Food Basic. We're not selling in Metro yet. When Loblaws has 13 other banners. When Real Canadian Superstore, we're in No Frills, Zep, Profigo, and some other of their banners across the Atlantic, So let's look for a problem to solve so that we can make money from solving problems. Now, the next point I want to talk about is building system. It's important to build a system and not just a money-making or income-generating venture alone. You may start by just building something that brings money for you, but it's important for you to ensure that there's a system around it, around what you have built. And this is what sustains the business. And this is what takes you beyond just having a side hustle to building a system that a lot of people can benefit from. So many immigrants simply replace one job with another. That's one thing I've discovered about when immigrants come to a place like Canada. I felt it's the same goal at some point. I thought I left 9 to 5 job, that I'm not a business person. I now realized that I was even working more than doing the 9 to 5. And there was no rest for me. It was affecting my health, but I kept pushing because of the kind of money we put in the business. I kept pushing, but it was affecting me. So my advice generally is when you set up a business, initially it is going to require your blood, your sweat, your everything, but make sure you're building a system that makes you a true entrepreneur and not just replacing one job with another. Because they say real business works best, or real business is when you don't even have to be there for the business to continue to run. So you're going to create a system, you're going to document your processes, you must learn how to delegate. You can't be the number 1 and number 2, number 3, number 4. You're not going to be the HR director, you're not going to be the marketing director, and still be the chief financial officer of the business. You're just going to kill yourself. That's too much for one person to be doing. So build a system around your business so that it's not just generating an income. You're building something that will last beyond you. You're building something that doesn't require you to be there every day. How do you want to enjoy the money you're making if you have not built this system? How do you want to go to the Caribbean land to enjoy the summer? Or how do you want to travel back home to Nigeria to see your family and friends, when your business is just about you? So you should be able to learn how to delegate. You should be able to build a system that works even when you're not there. Okay, so I move to the next one. That is relationship is very important in setting up a business. Relationship is very, very important. And I'm going to cite one simple, it looks simple example, how relationship helped our business. There was when we started initially, I think it was within the first 2 or 3 months of me starting the business then. I think I was there, I was in the store, and a lady came, a Canada Post lady. She came to deliver one of those things we don't like collecting bills. So she brought the electoral bill, was the Enbridge bill. And she said, wow, it smells nice in here. What do you have? I said, bread. Do you want to buy? I said, no, I don't have money to buy. And I just gave her a loaf of bread. She's from Jamaica. She's a Jamaican lady. So I gave her a loaf of bread. Okay. I've been talking for how many minutes now? I'm not sure. Is everybody
We
still
can hear
there?
you.
We can
We
hear
can
you,
hear
sir.
you very well.
Okay.
Clear.
Okay. I just want to be sure.
Yes.
With network, you never can tell. Maybe I've been talking to myself. So I told the lady that, oh, okay, you don't have to pay, just take it. Nobody was even going to buy all of the bread anyway. Most times I just give it to friends and family. When we started, we sell some. Anything that is left will be given out. So I gave it to her. She tasted it. She's Jamaican. Then I think 2 days after she came back, that she now wanted to buy. So she bought two. A week after she came back not just herself, she came with two of her daughters and her husband. That what's in this bread? Why do we keep coming back for this bread? Do you have she used the word, do you have there was something she used suggesting that do you have cocaine in the bread or something addictive. She used a particular word I can't remember now. I said no, there's nothing like that in the bread. She said, wow, it tastes nice. So she bought it again. They went home. Then I think the one she bought that weekend, she took it to, it was during summer. So she took it to one of their summer gatherings, barbecue party, and she shared it with a couple of other friends and families. And that's how I was able to connect with the guy that first introduced us to No Frills. So the guy came to meet me that I tasted your bread at the barbecue party. It was Nikki that gave it to us. And I have this connect in a supermarket that I believe your bread will do well. And that's how we started selling our first bread in No Frills then. So relationship, you don't know what or when you're going to meet people that are going to introduce your product or your services to other people. So you don't know when you're going to meet them, I'm sorry, a bit distraction. So the relationship is very key. Next customer, next investor, next mentor, next opportunity. You're not sure how it's going to come. So it's important you keep every point of contact. Take it seriously. Look at it as something that can bring more businesses for you. And that is one thing that I don't joke with. When I meet people, at times some of my friends say, you play too much. I don't play too much. I'm doing marketing. I'm marketing my product, I try to get people to taste it. When there are events, community events, they're having a association of Nigerians in this city or association of ethnic or tribe in this city, and they come for support. I give it to them. Not because I didn't want to sell, I didn't want to make money. I just thought giving it out gives the opportunity for some people to taste it for the first time. So any opportunity to market, to advertise the product is very important. And this is relationship. Then the next point is let's talk about we need to think bigger than our community. And I've seen a lot of business people, a lot of entrepreneurs come from Nigeria and they fall into that category. And not only Nigerians. One of the things I do by the side is I do business mentoring York University and Black Entrepreneurship Alliance. So they have this food accelerator program. So they have co-ops every year. So I'm part of the faculty. So I do business mentoring for people. And there was a lady that approached me. She does these Brazilian pastries, and she was not set. She said her problem was she wasn't selling enough. She wanted to grow the business. And she just said she's been selling about the same number, units or pieces of items for more than 2, 3 years. That she probably growing by 1%, 2%. And I now asked her a couple of questions. That's when I realized that she was still doing her business within the Brazilian community. She was still selling. In fact, she labeled it Brazilian pastries. That's what she put on her signage. Brazilian pastry shop or something like that, So she focused more on her community. And the problem with a multicultural environment like Canada is for you to grow your business, you need to think bigger than your community. So many of us fall into that trap. Oh, I'm setting up a business for Nigerians, or I'm setting up a business for Africans. What happens to setting up a business for the rest of the ethnic nationalities in Canada? That's how you can grow your business. When we started with selling bread to Nigerians. Then we realized that there was opportunity with selling beyond to other Africans. We took that opportunity. We realized that, oh, the Jamaicans, the Caribbeans, they love the product too, or they may like the product too. We didn't know until that guy came and he helped to introduce it. Then we now realize that out of every 10 black people that come into the bakery to buy the product, then 4 or 5 of them will be Caribbeans or Jamaicans. Others will be Nigerians and the rest of Africa. So that's how we were able to at least move it beyond Africa, then to the Caribbean. Then when we now move to the big supermarkets, we now realize that, okay, we've been able to take our product beyond our own immediate ethnic nationality, but get other people, whether from the Asia, whether you're Caucasian or any part of the world, so long you live in Canada, you go to No Frills, you go to Fresh Food, you go to Food Basics, you go to Rick Canadian Superstore, you go to Loblaws, you will buy our product there. And they're not only Nigerians buying or Africans buying their products in all of this supermarket. So the point here is sell outside of your community. Don't restrict your product or your services within your community. For you to grow, for you to make the kind of impact that leave legacies, you need to sell beyond your community. Think Canada is multicultural. Take advantage of that. Think nationally. You don't have to sell only in Ontario. Your services does not only, or your service, you don't have to have your service only for the people living in Ontario. It can be to New Brunswick, it can be in Saskatoon. We have a franchising location in New Brunswick. We have one in Saskatoon. We have in Calgary. We have in Oshawa. We have in Windsor, Waterloo, Ottawa, and we have 2 other locations. And we're going to still open 2 more in some other provinces in Canada. The idea is you can even go internationally. All of the products that we have all over the world today. Yeah, I was looking at the Ford family. I learned about how I was reading about the Ford family, how they started by having horses. They actually started with horses. So it was horses. Then later they added all of this part to their horses. So they were using horse carriages to move people around. Then they started with this other type of old model cars. But now today they have a brand. And I'm talking about several generations across. They now have a brand that is all over the world. Ford Motors is everywhere. Ford Automobiles everywhere. Even in Africa, Nigeria, And probably a lot of us may not know that it started by just the family selling or rearing horses, breeding horses for sport and for recreation, and see where they are now. So let us think of how we can take our product, our services beyond our community so that we can grow it. Because our community is going to get saturated at some point. Imagine I'm selling here, women here to people in my community. Well, probably, maybe that's not a good example. You can't sell it to Oyimbos. They don't need it anyway. You have a product and services that can cut across several communities. So why do you want to restrict it to only your own people? Sell it outside. Sell it outside and move outside of your community. Now, so that takes us. So when you do that, you're going to make more money. Definitely more money coming. Then you now see your revenue growing. So The next point is financial discipline. We have to be disciplined financially. By the time you now start seeing the money, you now need to know how to take care of the money, because they said money is a visitor. That's one adage in Yoruba. So it can come and leave. So when it comes to you, you want to hold on to it so that it doesn't leave. Everything is vanity, profit is sanity, sanity, cash flow is survival. So cash flow is what keeps your business, going. You need to continuously have cash flow inside of your business to manage your, remember, whether it's inventory, working capital, you need money consistently. So that's why you have to be very, very disciplined with your financial, how you handle your finances in business. You have to separate your money from, the business money from your personal money. You probably have a business card, in credit card meant for the business. You don't want to use it for your personal thing. Pay yourself salary. Know your numbers. It's important to pay yourself. So when you pay yourself, spend the money from the money you pay yourself for yourself. Don't spend the business money on yourself. Even if the business cannot afford to pay you, let the business owe you. Write it down. I used to do that. I knew my business was not able to pay me, but I'll just write it down. Like, you're owing me this X amount this month. I'll collect it when you make the money. Then reinvest strategically. Business don't usually fail because sales are low. Most times, business fails or business dies because there are no cash in the business to keep running. You might sell some product that you won't get the money in the next 60 days, in the next 45 days, but you keep selling. You're still selling. But if you don't have money to keep replenishing or buying raw materials, then the business may die. Despite you still having business, having customers to service, still producing. If money ceases, if cash flow ceases inside of your business, the business may die. So it's important that we're very, 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 very disciplined with our finances and how we handle the money we make from our businesses. Okay, now we're bringing it home. I believe we are mostly ladies here, or all ladies. So women have extraordinary business potentials. And I'm not saying this to patronize anybody here. I'm saying it because some of the things I've seen in my business, how I've been supported by my spouse, by my wife in my business, and some of the contributions she has made that have changed the course. There was a point. This business, I don't know how many of us know Great Marlow Bakery. There was a point somebody was telling me that I wanted to buy the business for $20,000. And I actually considered it because I was burned out then. I was tired. I was messed up. I just wanted to get out. But I'm sure I got a lot of encouragement from my wife saying, "Oh, let's keep pushing. Things will get better." So women have extraordinary business potential, and we're not going to downplay that. So we're mostly ladies here. So let us bring out that potential and make it work for us in our businesses. Women possess skills, we have people strengths that make outstanding entrepreneurs all over the world. You've seen business women doing so many successful or heading or leading so many successful businesses because of their resilience, because of their empathy. I think that empathy is one of the good things that you may not say with men. Discipline again, yes, maybe women are much more more disciplined than men. Then multitasking. Yeah, women are multitasking. Then maybe you know how to build relationship more than men. So those are some of the things, some of the qualities you need to put into what you do so that you can have a thriving business. Don't ever underestimate ability to lead successful business. Women can do it. I think a place like Canada and Nigeria, we still make do with a lot of women in the business world. You don't have to just work for businesses. Women can also own businesses. So I think I needed to just strike in that point. So now, after all of this has been said, those 8 points, I want to talk about the lessons, my personal lessons. If I have to start my life all over again, my Canada life, my business life, but I think I need to point this. I didn't just start business in Canada. We've always been doing businesses in Nigeria. Before leaving Nigeria, I was running a poultry farm. and I had about 25,000 birds. I was selling about 400 crates of egg every day, you know. So, but if I have to start all over again in Canada, what will I do differently? I think I'll start early or earlier than I started, because coming to Canada, it was a prayer point. It was a prayer point. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian, it's good to pray. It's good to pray for what you want. Even if you're not a Muslim or Christian, everybody believes somehow that there's somebody up there, or there's something somewhere that is greater than all of us, or there's a force somewhere that makes things happen. Talk to that force, pray to that God, pray to that Allah, and you see things happen in your life. So we came in 2016, we started the business in 2018. Maybe the business should have started earlier. You know, I can imagine another 2 years where we'll be in 2028. So one of the things I would have done is started earlier instead of still working, because I still worked in Canada anyway. I still worked at Rogers for about 3 years, yes, up to 2019. So I started the business in 2018, but I didn't stop working in 2019. That was when almost everybody in the world have told me that you have a good business. I was the only person that didn't see it. In fact, I started lying to some people that have resigned, that I was facing the business 100%. But I was still very shaky about, would this thing pay my bills, you know? Until I just thought of it. Just have to stop. And I stopped working and I focused on the business. So next time, if I have to start over again, I'll start early, build relationship faster. Relationship helps business. I can't overemphasize that. Learn financial management sooner. Yes, there's some financial mistakes that I made or I'm still making. And anybody that thinks you have solved all the problem in your business life or personal life, that person is serious stuff. So financial management will be, despite having the MBA in finance, despite being a general ledger accountant, one of the biggest multinationals in Nigeria at some point, there's still a lot to learn, especially when you move to a place like Canada. There are several demands, there's several requirements in terms of CRE. You don't want to get into CRE problem. So please, no matter how difficult it is for you, keep a very clean book so that when CRE comes, they will not find you wanting. You don't want to get into CRE problem. My business has been audited 3 times by CRE. I can imagine if I couldn't provide what they wanted, you know, where would be today. Then ask for help without fears. See, there's no problem telling people that you don't understand this. Like I said, we had a business consultant we're always talking to. It's still there for us to ask, to talk to up to today. I have some of my friends that we did sales and marketing together in Nigeria, that they even get to the point of directors that I still talk to, because I left quite early. I was just a regional sales manager before leaving. Some of them became directors, general managers. So I still talk to them. How will you handle this case? How will you deal with this problem in the market? If your brand is having this issue, what will you do? So talk to people, ask for help. And the last one is, I will focus on solving bigger problems. See, if you have problems, don't run away from them. Provide solutions, and trust me, the solution you're providing, you're helping so many people, and it brings money, it brings rewards, it brings something back to you. So, for all of us, please, I'm going to read down some 5 success principles. I read them in a particular book, and I joined them, and I wrote them down so that I'll share with us. I found it in one of my notes anyway. So when I was preparing for this event, I just said, okay, I'll write it down and share with you. So I want you all to remember these 5 words. Dream. I remember when we were struggling with trays to sell our bread in the market, I went to the company that produces, that company is the biggest producer of bread trays in Canada. I went to them and I just saw them producing thousands of a particular brand of tray. And I said, I want my own just like you said, no, they can't produce it to me. That design, that measurement, that color has been trademarked or patented for a particular business. And I said, one day I'm going to be like them. They said, the guy looked at me and he just didn't take me serious. So at the end of the day, I just bought one other type of trade that was cheaper that day. So when I went back to him when I went back to the company, he was still there. And I think it was about 3 or 4 years after. That now I want to produce that type of tray. Of course, it's going to be different size, different shape, different color. But I'm ready to buy that. He didn't believe it. He said, "How far is your business going?" I told him a couple of stores. We're here, we're there, we're there. It was really, we're not there yet anyway. We're still going to go into the US. We're still going to go into all the Walmart. We're still going to go into Costco. So whether it's going to happen or not, I don't care. But I dream it. I see possibilities, and I know what you see, what you think about, you attract it, and it happens. Number two is decide. Make a commitment. Don't stay too long. Don't overthink things. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. I think I mentioned it before. Develop. That's the number. The third one is develop. Keep learning. Don't just stay where you are. In the next few weeks, look out for some new products that we're going to launch. At some point we were selling just bread, then we brought out pastries. People love our pastries, it's fine. And we're thinking of new things to introduce. Beyond that, we're even looking at new business to even do. So we need to keep keep developing, keep learning, then deliver, create value, consistent value. Don't just do it once and leave it. Don't let people take initiative away from you. Continue to do it. Then duplicate. Build a system that can scale. In the factory that we opened 3 years ago, what we put there is actually beyond what we can sell. So the install capacity in that, but that was about $3 million investment. Install capacity can give us about 30,000 loaves of bread every day. But today we're not even doing 50% of 30,000 loaves of bread. So in the next 5-10 years, if we choose not to invest in equipment again, we have equipment that we have a system that we can scale already. So think of how you can duplicate or scale your business so that you're not stuck in one space, So those are all the points, but I'm going to close this by just reading out these quotes to all of us. Your salary can make you comfortable, but your business can make you free. Build something today that will continue working long after you've stopped working. Now, there's a Yoruba adage that simply summarizes all of this thing, and it is Iṣẹ́ aláṣejẹ, òwò aláṣelà. For some of us that may not understand that, when you do 9 to 5, you'll be fine, you'll be rich. I won't be richer than anybody. I mean, you'll be very rich, you'll be very comfortable. And you can be very, very rich. You can be the MD of a company. But at the end of the day, before you become the MD of a company, you have a stake in the company. So you're a business person already, But when you're not going to business, you've opened so much door to create wealth, not just for yourself, but for your family and to leave legacy. So that is the way I want to stop it today. We will make money when we work for people, but we can create even more when we set up our businesses. Thank you very much for listening.
This is me, off in my heart. Thank you so much, sir. This was wholesome. Can we please react? This says, my note is filled up. Your salary will make you comfortable, but your business will make you free. If you have not heard anything today, hear this. And this is speaking directly to me. Thank you very much, sir. I don't even know where to start from, but you have done a wonderful work at making me, who is not business inclined, to start thinking business. I always tell myself, Viv, you cannot do business, right? But I am now thinking business, and that's thanks to you. Very much welcome. Thank you so much. So we have some questions, and I'll start with the first one. It says, I registered my business mid last year, though I haven't started the business yet, but it is registered. Do I pay tax? What is expected of me? Kindly advise.
Okay, very good question. Some of us, so as I am today, I've registered some businesses that I'm not even doing anything with. I'm not doing so. The ones I'm working with is the ones people would know, but there's some that I'm not even doing anything with. You know. Now, if you have registered a business, you will not pay tax. So, because tax is actually paid on revenue that you've generated or profit that you have made. You know. So if you're not making profit, you're not. But there's something you have to do in Canada, and that is file. It's just $12 annual filing. Just do it every year, and you're okay. If you have an accountant, you can even file. You can even file your tax zero. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not going to pay tax. In fact, if you're not even making money, let's even say you have started, and you're not making profit, you're still not going to pay tax anyway. So, but it's good to always do that annual filing. CRA will always remind you. They'll send a message to you. Do your annual filing. It's just $12 in one year, 12 months. So you don't need to. You're not going to pay tax, but do your annual filing. That's sufficient to keep your business alive, so that they will not. They can actually withdraw that business after some time if you've not been filing that. You risk the business being discontinued if you don't file that $12 annual filing. So you're not going to pay tax, but just do your $12 annual filing.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you for that answer. So the next question says, I run a fish processing plant in Brantford where we smoke Banla fish in Canada. I am at a stage where I need an experienced coach. Please, how can I get into Mr. Rabiu's mentorship program?
Okay. It's not actually my mentorship program. It is called York University and Black Entrepreneurship Alliance. So go online and search for York University Black Entrepreneurship Alliance. So they have a fund from Government of Canada, and this came about after the Black Lives Matters issue. So the government gave about 250 million, dedicated about 250 million to Black businesses. So you can get onto that co-op, then you will now be matched with mentors. But if you think you need, how do I put it, advice, of course, you can send an email, you can send a message, and I will be able to give as much as I can. But if you want to be part of that organized mentorship program, you have to go through them, not through me. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that answer, sir. The last question we have, at what point, aside from how much the business is making, should a business owner leave their 9-to-5 job and focus on their business?
That is a very tricky question. Even me, I wish I could answer that question perfectly at this stage. I'll tell you, and I want you to just learn from me. In 2019, I started the business in 2018. So in that 2018, I took a leave of absence. I applied for a leave of absence. That was when I started seeing traction. It started growing from two retail stores selling the product to 5. I think it was when it got to 15. And I decided that, wow, maybe I need to. Well, after people started telling you that, you're now a businessman, you're now ready to, I now took a leave of absence. I applied for a leave of absence from work. 3 months was what I applied for. That, okay, let me see how much I can grow this business, giving it all. Instead of just running away from work to go and deliver bread, we'll have baked the bread overnight. I'll go to work. During break, I use my car to carry the bread and deliver. I said, okay, let me give it all. So after 1 month, the problem started showing face. After 1 month, that's when all your bills will come. I started seeing bills. I now realized that when you're on leave of absence, nobody's going to pay you. And I realized that we're selling bread though, but we're not collecting all the money immediately now. Some of these customers will hold you and they'll tell you come and collect every 2 weeks, every month, after 7 days. And some will even still give you potato check even after at the end of the month. That's when I realized that wow, it wasn't bringing money. This she wasn't paying my bills. So I think I actually cut short the 3 months leave of absence and I ran back to work after the first month. I now start combining. No, that's when you now realize that that weekly salary is actually a saver, but still, it can actually stop you from chasing your dream. So I went back, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I was not ready. So I started building again. We continued building the business up to 2019. They are now pulled out. That I thought, yes, with the numbers, with the figures, everything, yes, this what I will get in 4 days is more than times two of what they were paying me every 2 weeks. And my salary wasn't small. I was working at Rogers as a senior business analyst. My salary was about $86,000 then, per annum. So it wasn't a small money. But when I thought, okay, I was able to make my 2 week salary in 3, 4 days, that was when I left. But still, I still ran into some financial challenges along the line. But that was when I didn't give up. That was when I said somebody came to offer 20,000 to buy. You know why? What? No, it wasn't because we're not selling. It was just because we needed to keep reinvesting the money in the business. So we're reinvesting the money in the business, and that's the area that we didn't plan for. That people that you're giving, let's say we're producing 200 loaves every day, then they now wanted 400. You have to invest another fund in buying flour, in buying all of the things you use to cook. You have to bring in extra staff, and you have to pay them. So we did think very well about those ones. We just thought, okay, we're selling enough to cover. So the more the business was growing, it was requiring more money again. And it was now affecting the ability to meet up with other financial obligations. So that is the area that you need to prepare for. So I'm not going to tell you this is when you need to leave. No, you need to do your financial modeling. How much are you expenses on the monthly basis? If you are not making enough, if you don't make money in the next 2 months, have you saved enough to cover for your expenses just in case the business doesn't bring money in 2 months? You understand? So I think those are some of the things I will do. Maybe have enough money to cover all of your bills for 3 months before you now pull out 100%. So that if the money is not coming in immediately, if customers are not paying you immediately, you have enough saved to cover before the money starts coming in. For example, if you have a product and you're giving it to the big supermarket, some of them are not going to pay you until after 60 days, 45 days, or even 30 days. You have sold, but the money is not coming in. So do your financial modeling and look at how much you have saved. Can it cover you for 3 to 6 months? If you say the answer is yes, then you can go for your business.
Thank you so much, sir, for that answer. I think that's the last of the question we have, but I just wanted to wrap up with your 5 success principles: dream, decide, develop, deliver, and duplicate. So if you're here and you're thinking business, this is the right time to start. I'm starting to think business. I didn't think I could, but now I am. Thank you so much, Mr. Rabi. We appreciate you. Please, can we all give it up for him? He took his time and he has put us through in this short time. I'm sure a lot of us have made so much decisions regarding our businesses. Thank you so much, sir. We do appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I appreciate the fact that I was asked to come and share with everybody. And I learned from the previous speaker too, because I listened to what you were saying. So thank you. And I wish everyone all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm gonna share so that we see the next thing we have. So it's first of all, it's time for our fireside testimony, my redefined in Canada. So if you're here and you're wondering what fireside testimony is, I'm going to bring Babes Nelly to bring it on. So we always like to hear from one of our own, and Babes Nelly is going to share how to define win here in Canada. So go ahead, Babes, we're listening.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon. I believe that we have enjoyed the last 2 hours, listening your feed. And first of all, I want to thank you for being here. You in particular, babes, for being here. So I like for us to share our testimony, our win testimony for the people in Canada. I want you to share your fire testimony. What have you gained in this webinar? What are you going home with? I like for you to share so that another person can hear and also add to their own. That makes it double. So if I've learned one thing, I want to hear yours too as I share mine, and then we will all go home with multiple knowledge. So for me, I've actually gained a lot, especially in the last session. A lot of us are not those of us that are career people, we are not thinking business. And like Babes V said, I once told myself many years ago that no, don't bother doing business. You can love it, you cannot do business, you know. But over time, I've started thinking about business. And then when Mr. Rabiu was having a session, I went back and I'm saying to myself, this is something, we all can do. Even though I'm not in Canada, but the country where I am, we can think of business and start doing it. So in the comment section, if you have your testimony, something that you are going home with, I like for us to share in the comment section. If I see yours, I'm gonna read it out. Yeah. Okay, let me go and see. Okay. While I'm waiting for your testimony, I like to let you know what Babes is all about. This is Babes Redefined, and by God's grace, it's 16 years running. By November this year, Babes Redefined will be 16 years. How did Babes Redefined come to be? We have a visionary leader in person of Pastor Maureen Oshumakide, popularly known as Pimo. So we all call her Pimo. Yeah, many years ago, God gave her this vision to, bring women together. So Babes Redefined is a vision with a mandate to raise a generation of women with defined purpose. So you can ask yourself, what is your own defined purpose? I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I can categorically tell you that being here today, even if before now you don't have a particular purpose, by now you would have begun to think about, oh, what am I here to do? And then you can align it with all that you have had today. So BABES is an acronym. So that we call ourselves babes. And it means the B is beautiful, A is adorable, B is blessed, and the E is empowered, and the S is saved. As you can see today, we are here for empowerment. So, and that's one of the visions of Babes, bringing women together to empower you, to tell you about Christ and all therein, So, before we leave today, I like to specially thank the transition committee. It's a 7 Babes committee. They have worked tirelessly to make this program what it is today. Honestly, I want to specially thank every one of them. I have Babes Chini, I have Babes Abolanle, and I have our moderator today, Babes Vive, and Babes Yewande, coupled with the exos, They have worked tirelessly. I mean, the Canada have worked to make this program a success. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. God bless you. And I want to put a special thanks to Babes Dolapo. In fact, I don't even know how to thank her because she's always prompting me, how is this going? Let's do this. And I just want to thank every one of you. God bless you. God bless you. We do appreciate you and we pray that whatever your heart cry, whatever your heart desire, as you are coordinating to let other people's life be fulfilled, I pray that God will hear that heart cry in Jesus' name. Amen. Let me see. What else do we have here? Hold on. Okay, so we have an empowerment, a resource pack. We're going to be sending to your emails. If you have registered, be rest assured you are going to receive it. And we also will be sending it with a survey link. Please, you know that there is no perfection, but we want to want to ensure that we are doing things rightly. Help us with the survey so that when next we want to do a program like this, we will see places that we didn't do well, and then we make an adjustment. So it's important that you help us with that survey. Thank you. So you'll be receiving the email maybe today. Yeah. So you receive the email. Also, I didn't tell you that in Babes we have campuses, and then camp. This is Canada campus, right? And we also have a WhatsApp group. We have a Facebook group for Babes Redefined. But for the campuses, we have WhatsApp groups. I will try and drop the links. If you live in Canada, if you are here and you are a babes, you are a woman, you live in Canada, please, we will encourage you to click on that WhatsApp link and join the WhatsApp group. And we also want you to join the Facebook group. I will also put up the link. Let me see what is. Okay. Yeah, I think that's that. I'm still waiting for your fireside testimony. It can come from anybody. Just put it on the comment section. I'm going to read it out. If you allow me, I will call your name. Okay. I'm seeing Babe Sewing. Babe Sewing. I learned that the best time to start is now. We don't have to wait for a perfect timing. That's so profound. You know, a lot of times we want to be sure that everything is in place. It's good to let everything be in place, but we may not have everything at the same time. So I believe that we are going to go home with this testimony and know that the perfect time is just now. Just is now. So take that step, the one that has been on your mind, to start something, to empower yourself. Take that step today. For those of us that are still thinking, I want for us to think it through and make that step. That's the essence of this webinar. We don't just want to come and have this webinar and close our book and go and sleep. No, we want to take action. It's important. We want to take action. So I think that's all for now. We want to close by 2 o'clock and we want to keep to the time. We know in this part of the world, time is money. So it's 2:02. I think this is where we are drawing the curtain. Other panels, is there anything remaining? Please, if there is any other thing, we can bring it up within 2 minutes so that we can dismiss everybody.
I think that we
Closing
have
prayer.
done justice to everything, and I will leave it for you to lead us in the closing prayer.
Okay.
Again, if we didn't answer your questions, please, we will make an effort to answer them in the email that in the email we'll send to you, because a few people sent questions we couldn't answer, or even in the group. If you're in Canada, if you're in the WhatsApp group, we will try to answer the questions there. So just make us understand that you have a question that is not answered, and then we can help and we can get that going. Babes Nelly, over to you for the closing prayer.
Okay, let's pray. Father, we thank you. We give you all the glory. We magnify your name because you are the King in heaven. We thank you for how you have led us through this webinar. We thank you for empowerment. We thank you for all that we have had today. We thank you for our guest speakers. We thank you for the babes. We thank you for our guests, the ones that are not yet babes, that we believe that they will join us. Father, we thank you for every one of us. Thank you for the time that we have taken. Thank you because we know that this time is not going to be in vain. We pray that everything that we have learned today, everything that we have listened to, Father, give us the enablement, give us the empowerment to be able to take steps, to be able to take action in the name of Jesus. And I know that as we start whatever you are putting in our hearts, Father, we know that it is already a success because we believe that it is already a success. We thank you, Lord, because this webinar is successful. Thank you for everyone that is present. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. Why the blessing remain for your children. In Jesus' precious name, we have prayed. Amen. And
Thank you
amen.
so much. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone,
All right.
for
Thank you,
spending time
everyone.
with us. This is me saying goodbye.
Unmute,
You can
Bye,
unmute and
everyone.
say bye. Yes.
Bye, everyone. They
I
can
can say
unmute.
bye. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Bye.
Thank
everyone.
you.
God
Thank you.
bless.